Hello everyone, my name is Khaled with KINETIQ, and today I want to walk you through another super common problem that we see when we talk to data leaders. And it's a huge challenge today as each organization tries to expand its data footprint and democratize the power of the data that they're sitting on already. And that is, you can't govern what you can't see end to end, and managing governance across a number of platforms is a huge challenge. So what we see a lot is that when you have data spread across multiple different disconnected systems, you now have to chase your governance workflows across all of those. So your access control lives in multiple different places, each with its own model and its own maintenance methodology. Number two, Lineage stops at the boundaries of each tool. Nobody has a full picture of end-to-end Lineage, and no one can ensure that it is accurate and safe all the way from end to end. Data quality issues surface downstream, and then you have to peel back the layers to identify where that happened and where the issues are with data quality. If someone does leave or people change roles, changing their provisioning and their access is a checklist across multiple platforms as opposed to a one-stop shop. So nobody plans for things to be ungovernable like that, but it ends up that way when organizations are straddling multiple different tools and they haven't consolidated. So this is a huge problem for a lack of visibility into your governance. It presents a challenge around audit. So if you want to be able to audit your analytics and audit your access across systems, you now have to do that across every system that you have. Privacy, of course, is a challenge because you have to look through the different systems and make sure that PII is protected. And depending on the regulations of your industry, of course, there are other regulations you have to comply with. Sensitive data is maybe accessed by the wrong team, and you'll find out after the fact. And of course, there's compliance pressure as well. So all of these are presenting a real exposure and a real risk to organizations on top of the actual hard work of just maintaining governance across multiple systems. So that governance work ends up falling on the people who already have another job, and it ends up being a burden and taking away from the value they can create elsewhere. So what does it look like when you unify your data into the right place? And you can implement end-to-end governance by design, you're architecting it in, as opposed to a checklist that people have to go through. One, you can have one access control model that is defined everywhere. Permissions are defined once and then enforced across the platform. Number two, you have end-to-end lineage where you can trace any data point from source to sink without having to leave one platform. Your compliance posture, of course, like we just talked about on the previous slide, can be controlled and visible in real time and in one place. The same applies to your sensitivity and your audit logging. So this allows you to unify and centralize all of that work into one platform as opposed to chasing it around others. It lowers your cost of ownership, but also lowers your risk exposure. So how have we seen people do this in the past, and what does that look like? Well, number one, they go from a patchwork of controls to a governed platform. Where a lot of people start is they will have governance spread across several disconnected tools. These might be different data warehousing tools, BI tools, analytics platforms, and so on, where they have to manage access, lineage, data quality, and compliance separately and inconsistently, and it's always reactive. Whereas with the right platform and the right infrastructure in place, you have one place where you're managing governance and lineage, and your access and compliance is also managed in one place. And you're not reacting to an audit, you're actually proactively prepared. So very important to think about how you want to do this. And what we like to do is we partner with data leaders to give them a blueprint. And in that blueprint, we map out what your current governance landscape looks like. We identify where there are gaps that make the most exposure for you today, the highest risk. And we show you what a unified layer would look like, give you a blueprint to executing that. So if you're dealing with these problems and this sounds familiar to you, you should check out the QR code here and get into contact with the team. And we can give you a little bit of a preview of what this would look like for your organization and how you can get started today.